Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of OurMFC. I hope you have all had an amazing week. Not the best weekend once again in terms of Boro and the scoreline, but yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, I hope you've had an enjoyable week anyway since our last episode. Obviously, in today's episode, we will go through the Blackburn result at the weekend, talk about some good things, um, and talk about the bad things, what improvements I think we can make going forward, um, formation changes, that type of stuff. Little bit of an update on Carrick, as well, and the managerial situation. So yeah, lots to kind of pick our way through. So yeah, stay tuned and let's get straight into it. So yeah, I previewed the Blackburn game briefly in the last episode, and basically just spoke about Blackburn, a side they've been a little bit inconsistent. If anyone's seen their record of games this season, it's literally been win loss win loss win like all the way through. Pretty weird, pretty coincidental. They obviously needed to win against Boro to keep that form up. And obviously, if you're watching this, you will have seen the scoreline and seen that they did get that win. Um, but yeah, a tough side to break down. The defending numbers, the pretty solid side. Obviously, new manager at the start of the season, so it's a bit of a different philosophy there, different style of football that they're playing. Obviously transitioning from Mowbray, but I mean, to be fair, Mowbray brought in a core group of players um, that is obviously still there this season. Um, that made them so solid, that made them that resilient side to break down, but then have them fast. Not all of them are fast, but in areas that they need to be, especially the fullbacks, um, and players that can kind of make something out of nothing. They have them players, um, like your Gallagher, your Brereton Diaz. Like these are the types of players that can make something out of nothing. And that was kind of well, I wouldn't say not necessarily just the difference, but it definitely helped in Blackburn's favour. So obviously, like I say, going into the game, we started very poorly, um, unbelievably poorly. Um, it, honestly, I was sat there watching it and I was like lost for words almost. Well, I was, but I wasn't, because how many times have we said that this season? How many times have we said, "Oh, we started poorly, first half really poor, second half unbelievable, gave ourselves too much to do this that." Like, getting a bit sick and tired of it now. Um, these are paid professionals, um, and I'm not starting to lose it, but I'm getting really frustrated at just constantly saying that, coming on here week in, week out and going, you know what, we didn't start very well today, but the second half was an improvement and it's something positive to take it in the next game. Like, it's a load of bollocks. Like, you've got to be switched on all game. That's what you pay to do. You have to be on your game, otherwise you lose games like we have been. Um, and you know what? If you're not good enough, then the manager's got to step in, and or the coaching staff, whoever, and say, "Look, mate, you need to book your ideas up, otherwise you're not going to be in this team next week." Um, and I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not like naming certain players, but like some players the last few weeks, like don't even look like they want to be there. Um, or there's just two completely different players on the pitch. Like the first half, they'll start and they won't look interested, or like they're lazy on the ball, it's sloppy, and in the second half, the different like they're right on it, and like we might as well start 2-0 down, because that's when we seem to switch on. That's when we start to go, oh bloody hell, we need to score to win games, we need to defend to win games. It's crazy. Yeah, minor rant over. but yeah, we didn't start well. We didn't start well at all. And their first goal comes from a set piece again. I say again because I feel like the amount of times we've switched off from set pieces is just ridiculous this season, and it's not good enough. Like something needs to be. I don't know who's analysing these set pieces, whatever it may be, corners, free kicks. I don't know who's analysing them and telling them where to go, but I don't know how many times I've seen there's a free man, like they they've got a free man every time in the box, like a free header. So many times throughout that Blackburn game, there was an extra man over. They seemed like they had someone else in the box. It doesn't add up, and obviously the coaching staff and the manager, like whoever it may be, they're not on the pitch. They can't do that job for them. Um, that's up to the players, and the players really need to switch on. Because this is playground stuff now. We're not even talking like, oh, so and so's made a mistake, or it won't happen again. This has happened too many times this season for us to keep doing that. It's ridiculous. We're coming in up to November, um, and I'm the optimist. I'm the sucker for Boro that goes that buys into every week, or like we'll be positive, we'll pick up a result. And yeah, I mean, you have to, and that's just not in football, that's in life. But where do you draw the line with stupid mistakes and not switching on? Like I say, set piece, ball gets whipped in. Um, Lenahan, I don't know if he's falling, but he tries to chest it back to Stefan, and he doesn't get a connection on it like at all, really. Not a good enough connection, not a clean enough connection. And then Gallagher's just behind him, just there, like a poacher, ready to pounce on it, and taps it in. And they go 1-0 up. And to be fair, they were well deserved of that lead. Like I said, when I say we were poor, we stood off them. We looked like we didn't want the ball. What I've noticed through this really tough patch is I look around on that football pitch and I don't see a leader. I see Lenahan, who, yeah, could have made a better decision for that goal, but the only player really that's holding people accountable and talking to people and motivating people, picking each other up. Like I say, I look around that pitch, and at times it just breeds negativity. It breeds like this. It's just not. The players are really low on confidence, and we need that player, someone to take it by the bollocks and go, you know what? I'm going to be the one that changes this game. I'm going to be the one that looks around when my players' heads are down, picks them up, and like, motivates them to keep going, to push them to keep going. Um, because like I say, I don't see players like that. Genuinely, for me, it links back to Tav and his energy, his positive thinking of like, let's keep going and let's create something, and let's keep running. That spread throughout the team, and genuinely, since we've lost him, people need to realise how important he was to that Middlesbrough side, and how important, um, not just like, yeah, he might make a bad pass here and there, but like I said, the energy that he brought like spreads throughout the team. The positivity spreads throughout the team to encourage the team to keep going, to like encourage them to make something, and to go again. And like I said, we don't have that willing runner anymore. We don't have that person that's going to breed that positivity, that's going to pick people up anymore. Like Howson's captain, and I know that he leads by example, and he's a very, very good role model for any youngster that wants to look up to someone and be the highest professional in football as possible. But as a leader, as a captain, do I see that? I'm not sure, because for me, the definition of a captain is that person that leads, that will literally like hold you accountable, that'll come up to you, get in your face and say, look, you should be doing this, or look, let's fucking keep going. Like, do you know what I mean? That's a leader. you've got to have that passion, you've got to have that fight, and I'm not saying Howson doesn't, but it needs to be expressed in a way that's going to get others motivated, that's going to make other people tick. Like, can you imagine if Leo was a player? That's who I'd want as my captain. Um, and like I say, 1-0 down, we didn't have that player to pick us up, and we kind of fell apart a little bit. We had a 10-minute spell. Like, even before that, every time Blackburn came forward, they were like scoring or they were like creating a dangerous chance. Um, and anyway, like I say, after that goal, we then even still had like a 10-minute spell where we were pretty dross, pretty poor. Um, yeah, second goal. Yeah, second one's even more disappointing because the defenders got the ball on. I want to say the in between the halfway line and the 18-yard box. Got it there casually, not putting any under pressure. That's fine. Everyone's got the shape, and he literally floats a ball right up to our defence, and you've got I think it's Dale Fry in the middle, and then you've got McNair, and I've got no idea if McNair's stepped up and there's been no communication between the two, but the ball gets like lofted over. He's in between, um, he's in between both of them players, and like I say, um, McNair's further forward than Dale Fry, so there's a gap in between them, and the defender just loops that ball right into the middle of them, and McNair's dropping back. He's already assessed the situation. You can see that the ball's coming over and coming into that space. And he watches it come over. He allows Gallagher the time to take it to watch it come over his shoulder, to take it down. Don't get me wrong, it was a good touch, but to take it down, still not put a challenge in. Then to take a touch out of his feet towards the like to the middle of the goal or the middle of the edge of the box, 18-yard box. He allows him to take that touch and still doesn't put a foot in. And then I'll take nothing away from the strike. Brilliant strike. Like I say, Gallagher loves a goal against Boro. I feel like every time we play them, he scores. Um, could Stefan do a little bit better? Mm, there's plenty of power on it, plenty of venom. For me, it's not in the centre of the goal. I mean, it is in the center of the goal. It's not like it was straight in the top bins. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't screaming top corner how no keeper in the world would save that. So Stefan possibly could have done better. But for me, how and why that ball is allowed to be floated over the top, be able to take a touch and bring it out of his feet to get a shot off in that much space and have that much time, I'd have got bollocked if I didn't do that in school, let alone as a professional. I've got no idea what he's thinking and why he doesn't make the challenge. Why, when the ball's been lofted, he's not already thinking, right, I need to get myself into this position. And all right, fair enough. If he doesn't get himself into the position quick enough, right, well, he has to make a challenge. He has to stop um, Gallagher from coming inside and potentially creating something for someone else or getting a shot off. And he just casually comes inside, um, and he has a brilliant, brilliant shot. And we go 2-0 down. And that second goal epitomised our defending and how we've been the last month, month and a half. It's the start of the season, really. Just really, really poor. And it's just the basics. That's what's more frustrating. The types of goals that we're conceding, they're not like absolute world beaters, and they're preventable in these small decisions, these small little moments where we're making big, big mistakes that can change games. And for me, that was a really, really preventable goal. All um, all McNair has to do is step in, put his body in, put his foot in, get his foot on the ball, or if he can't get there, say, Dalo, I need you to come over. I need you to put a foot in and I'll cover you if he comes in behind, or if he plays to the side, then I can put a foot in and make the challenge. And he doesn't, he just waits and waits and waits. There's a shot, scores. McNair stood there like, bloody hell, that's not ideal, is it? It's not good enough. It's just really, really not good enough. Um, the one good thing to come out of that half is then we switched on. We were 2-0 down and then we switched on. That's when we're like, right, we need to start playing football now. We need to get ourselves back into the game. Um, and we start playing some all right football, some little combinations. People seem a little bit more up for it and going, right, we need to fight instead of doing that when it's 0-0, being too casual about it. Um, but yeah, we end the second half on a high. Like I said, lovely bit of play in the midfield. I can't remember which midfielder it was, but plays McNair makes a nice running behind, and it's just a lovely threaded ball through, and a great left-footed finish from Duncan Watmore. I think it goes like underneath the keeper, um, and that's right on the stroke of half time. So you're thinking 2-1 down, not as bad as it could and probably should have been. And actually, massively praise Stefan. I know I questioned the second goal and what he could have done for that, but I'm being honest. If it wasn't for him, it could have easily been about 5 or 6 that first half. They had plenty of chances. Really, really dangerous at cutting inside, playing through balls and getting behind us. There was a couple of times, like I say, he made saves, and I'm talking fingertip saves. That if he doesn't make that, it genuinely, if he didn't make them saves, 5 or 6 nil. I'm telling you now, 5 or 6 nil, and we probably should have been. I think Blackburn will go. It'll be especially after that first half. Well, they're probably saying like, let's have the same again in the second half, but convert your chances because I tell you what, if we got something out of that game, they'd have been kicking themselves after that first half. Absolutely kicking themselves. They were pretty much all over us for most of it. And like I say, with the amount of chances that they had, could have absolutely finished. It could have been a proper annihilation that first half. And then you're down and you're out. Do you know what I mean? And fans, will have had enough. They're left. Yeah, it'd have been pretty scary to imagine what the outcome of that had been. Um, but yeah, Duncan Watmore get to go back. You go at half time, think, you know what, this isn't that bad considering how it could have been. We've gave ourselves a chance now to get back into it and to actually get something out of the game. Um, and yeah, to be fair, we came out in the second half, um, and we played better football. Leo and his coaching staff made some subs, brought on Isaiah Jones, who for me completely changed the game. Um, Obviously started with Giles, but on that right hand side, um, we had Jake Steele starting at wing back. Now, don't get me wrong, Jake Steele makes some absolutely excellent runs from centre back, and he really gets us up the field. He is positive on the ball, and he gives their defenders and their midfielders something to think about. He commits an extra, like his body forward, um, which then opens the space for someone else. But I feel like when Jack Steele for me isn't the type of person where if you're square on with him, he'll take 1v1, get to the bar line, whip a ball in. Doesn't have the pace like Isaiah Jones has. But what them two are really good at doing when they're on the pitch together is one will make Jake Steele will make the dart and run inside, which then um opens the space for Jones out wide. But because there wasn't necessarily them runs into the middle or as positive as direct as Jake Steele normally is, McNair, Jake Steele are different players when in terms of getting forward. Um, it meant that that space and that option to get wide and to 1v1, it wasn't on. It was never on. And I think, like I say, when Jones came on, he came on for Jake Steele, so still not ideal really. Um, but he got on the ball, he committed players to trying to make a tackle and then opening the space for someone else. He was really positive, really direct, which is everything that we ask of Jones and everything that he brings to that Boro side. That we've obviously always been missing. Um, and yeah, like I said, for me, he changed the game. We created a lot more. We were a lot more forward thinking. We were a lot more creative in our combination play in and around the box. Obviously, for me, if I was a Blackburn manager, I'd have been saying like, let's go for the same. But they seemed a lot more reserved in that second half, a lot more standoffish. But I think that stemmed from us using that goal as a little bit of confidence and a little bit of momentum going into the second half to really get at them from the off, put them under pressure, make them, think about things a little bit more, make them panic a bit more. Um, and it really got the Borough fans behind the players, which was good as well because the 12th man definitely always helps. But yeah, it like I say, we had a few chances. One in particular that we were crying out. Swear on my life, I literally said one more chance, just one more chance. Um, and I think it's Giles who's got it on the left hand side. No, I think it's no Bowler came on. Um, and Bowler whips in like a lovely ball. Well, I say a lovely ball. He pings it in, and I think a defender like heads it back, and the keeper's not sure, and he's stumbling back. I think he flicks it onto the bar, but it comes off the bar, bounces down. I kid you not, chew back, Pom. Honestly, if you haven't seen this, please go and watch the highlights. Please go and have a look back. Um, he's like 1 yard out, and I literally mean like, yeah, 1 yard, the goal line, and Chubak Pom. Ball bounces right in front of him, right to his feet. All he's got to do is put his foot through it, get through that ball, and smash it into the back of the net. Then you equalise, and then you've got 10, 15 minutes to really get at them, put them under pressure, and see if you can get all three. Um, and my word, it literally bounced on the floor. Chubak Pom stood there, kicks it, but it's like he's trying to pass it in. I'm thinking, just put your foot through it. Um, and to be fair to the keeper, he makes an unbelievable save. But he doesn't know much about it. Like if you're a keeper in that scenario, obviously just reacting. And he goes to ground like with his arms open, just in the hope that if he hits it anywhere, if his hand gets a touch to then he's going to save it from point blank range. And that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what happened. He sticks his arm out, Tuberakpum hits it, and it just hits the keeper's arm, and he somehow saves it, which is absolutely crazy. And that if it was going to happen to anyone in the current form that we're in, it was going to happen to us. It's always going to happen to us. Um, but yeah, it did, and it's a real shame because I do feel you could feel the momentum swing, and I think if we would have got that second goal, I think we probably could have kicked on. We probably, it only takes one set piece to. I mean, that's the same for both sides, but it only takes that one set piece to come off, and you've nicked 3 points somehow. Um, but even to get a point out of that game, I'd have been buzzing, especially after that first half. So to come away with nothing again is, yeah. Because like I said, it ended with couple more chances, half chances really, nothing as clear as that chance. And yeah, we lose the game 2-1. like I said, 2-1, not a bad scoreline in the sense of it could have been way more. Blackburn could have definitely scored a lot more. But yeah, pick our Reds up, I guess, and go again, as the optimist would say. Um, One thing that definitely paid off, just on reflection of that game, was we went to a 4-3-3. Now, for me, 4-3-3, I like the formation. I thought we were very, very solid, but it definitely gives the manager something to think about because obviously then you can't play two up front. Um, Poses the question, doesn't it? Do we do we stick with two up front and run the risk of not being as solid, or do we stay solid and play Jones and Giles as wingers? For me, I think looking at how much better we played in that second half, I know playing three at the back's actually meant to make you more creative, make you more create. You commit more bodies forward, so you're going to create more chances. But when we went to a back four, three midfield, three up top, we were well better. Um, so I definitely think going forward, I think that should be, I think for me, my squad would be um, Stefan in goal. It would be Jake Steele right back, and then I'd play Dale Fry and Lenahan, and then I would play Bowler left back. I'd play Howson, Hackney, and Crooks. I play. I'd probably start Muniz. Yeah, I'd probably start Muniz up top, and then I'd play Giles and Jones as wingers. I think that would probably be my strongest 11. See how it goes, and then there's the option to bring it back to two, but just to create whilst being solid, I thought it gave us, because we were solid, it meant that there was less fear in what we were doing. We were all right with taking risks that were eventually paying off because we grew in confidence. We weren't scared of losing the ball in areas in fear that they're going to counter us and they're going to score. So I definitely think it's something to look for. But like you say, we have to pick ourselves up again. Leo's got to get them ready, get their ideas booked up because he's obviously staying on as manager. I haven't found one yet. Nothing's been confirmed. So Leo and his coaching staff are staying on. We play Wigan. I'm recording this on Tuesday night. We play Wigan tomorrow night. On the Wednesday. Fingers crossed we can get a result because I tell you what, they've had a bit of a mixed bag, but they've had some decent results as well. Definitely not one to look at and go, it's an easy 3 points. That's an easy game because I'm not being funny. We're in the relegation zone, and no game is easy in this league, as we all know. So it's certainly going to be an interesting one. But I would love to see that starting 11. I would love to start as a 4-3-3 because I think it gives you that solidity. You don't have to worry about being caught on the counter because Jones and Giles are out of position, and they've got so much space on the flanks. Don't have to worry about that. Like you say, you've got that solidity, and then you've got the threat of them going forward and mixing and matching that midfield, rotating, playing balls into Muniz to then play it back and get Giles and Jones more involved. Get them scoring goals. Like they've got it in the locker. They just need to be played in that right position that allows them to do so. And I know they are defenders, but they're attack-minded defenders. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. But touching on that managerial subject, the negotiations between Boro and Michael Carrick, obviously I mentioned in the last one, they kind of gone a little bit flat. So we were unsure as to where we were going in terms of direction with the next manager, who that would be. But like I said, the negotiations have ramped up again. Um, what Michael Carrick was supposedly worried about was the lack of support he would get and control he would get around transfers and bringing in like backroom staff. So whether he spoke to the club about that and they've said like you don't need to worry about that, it's all going to be fine, and then he's took some time, considered it, and gone, actually I quite fancy this, be a good opportunity to get back into the game with a fucking awesome club that have literally got everything that you need for success, um, bar the Chiefs at the club. And this is where I'm really unsure as to whether to believe the reports or not, because for Carrick to say that, surely he'd look at the last bar Woodgate because it was his dream job and he would have done anything to keep that job anyway. Bar that, the last three managers, Chris Wilder, um, Neil Warnock, Tony Pulis, look at them three, all came out and said that they didn't have the control that they were promised or that they would have wanted, or signings that they mentioned were dwelled on, weren't acted upon. I mean, even going back to Woodgate and looking at some of the signings he brought in, let's be honest, they didn't all pay off, but likes of Bowler, to some extent, Jake Steele, fantastic signing. Um, but he wanted to sign Ivan Toney for 6 million. Now, don't get me wrong, we'd have absolutely ruined him as a player, and he wouldn't have been as successful as he is now. However, that lack of trust as well. Neil Warnock spoke actually early this week or the end of last week about how he wanted to bring Kiefer Moore in. Um, he said that from the off, and we didn't, and he ended up going to Cardiff. And he had a really, really successful spell there. So, and then obviously he went to Bournemouth. So, yeah, absolutely crazy. So why Carrick wouldn't be looking at that and the summer that we've just had, probably a tiny factor in why Wilder went. A little bit sour not getting the signings that he wanted, not having the control that was promised. Um, I do think it's a big factor in this club. I think we have all the recipe for success, and I think we were led to believe that when we get the sporting director in, he's going to be making the shots now, and he's going to be passing the power over to the manager that he picks that's right for the job, that is right for the direction the club wants to go in. Um, He'll help him find the players, but ultimately it's up to the manager to make that final decision and go, yeah, he fits the way that I want to play football. He'd be a good character, good signing, good fit for the club. Um, but it's not been the case the last few managers, so I'm not sure. Like I say, negotiations have ramped up, and apparently it's right on the verge of being done. There's already talk of John O'Shea coming in, Alex Bruce being his assistant manager. Where that leaves Leo, I'm not sure either, because Leo's expressed his um, wants and his thoughts to become a manager. He's had plenty of opportunity in the past. He might even be thinking, "Look, is it time for me to go and manage and to go and explore that?" But if Carrick comes in, I'm not so sure he'll all that backroom staff will be there. I'm really not. So I mean, that's a conversation that the club have got to have with him, and they've got to agree on something. And guess we'll see what happens. Sam Jordan said today actually that from Talksport that he doesn't see Carrick as a manager, more of a coach. But then again, we've got to ask the question: what is it the club want? The club want more of a head coach role and not a manager. Um, it's kind of like Thomas Frank at Brentford, in the sense of they will make signings purely based on stats, and it's out of Thomas Frank, a head coach, to get the most out of them players or to make decisions on who plays in what position, what formations the play, that type of stuff. He's a man manager. He's got to get the best out of all of them, and I think that's the type of person that we're looking to bring in next. So whether Carrick is that type of person, personally, I think so. Um, so, like I say, I agree with Sam Jordan in the sense of he's not a manager. However, I think he's got it in his locker. And I think if we can give him a platform to do that, um, who knows? Who knows? Sky's the limit. But yeah, that is going to wrap up today's episode, guys. So if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a like, subscribe as well. It really helps us know that you're supporting what we're doing, you're enjoying what we're doing. Really means a lot. And if you listen on the podcast, please leave a review and give us a follow as well. Make sure turn the bell on. Just anytime we post, get notifications, letting you know. So yeah, thank you guys very much. Fingers crossed for a bloody win tomorrow. And I'll see you next week. Enjoy, guys. Bye. So our first sponsor is Family Outings Limited. Now these guys have been with us from the start, so you'll have heard us talk about these. They're a family-friendly coach trip business, and they run from Teesside to national destinations like Blackpool, Blackpool, Pleasure Beach, Alton Towers, Flamingo Land, that type of stuff. But to concerts as well, and they go from Billingham, Middlesbrough, Hartlepool, and Stockton. So if you're in them areas, you're looking for a nice family holiday, a day out, a trip, whatever it may be. Speak to these guys because they have some really awesome coaches on. The next one is Spencer Beck Windows Teesside. Now, these guys have also been with us from the start. Really, really awesome guys. These guys are traditional window cleaners that literally cover the whole of Teesside. So, if your windows are a bit mucky, don't have time to clean them, speak to these guys because look at some of their before and afters on Facebook, do a cracking job. So yeah, go and speak to them. Next one is Chris Clark Solicitors. So Chris Clark, he is a massive, massive Boro fan. Chris spoke to us at the start of the season. He's a Boro lad. He set up when he moved to Staffordshire, and that's where the Chris Clark solicitors are based. But if you're local to that area, and you're looking for a solicitor that does criminal defence, conveyancing, wills, and probate, go and speak to Chris because they've got a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience in all of them backgrounds, and yeah, can get you all the help that you need. Gracie Barra Martial Arts, these guys are honestly so cool. They've got so many athletes. One of them not long ago fought Tom Hardy. If you don't know who Tom Hardy is, you're mad. World renowned actor, been in crazy films. Well, he actually trains in jiu-jitsu, and one of Gracie Barra based in Middlesbrough, one of their students fought in a competition, fought him, which is really, really cool. But yeah, these guys do jiu-jitsu training. There's one based in Hartlepool as well, but I'm talking like high level. They provide classes for all age groups, starting from teenagers to adults, and they've got a lot of courses and stuff as well to help you move up the belts. But yeah, go and check them out if it's something you want to get fit, you want to learn a new skill. Go and try it. Really, really cool. AM training and recruitment. So these guys are specialists in pre-employability training. If you're looking for a new job, you want to find a new course to help you gain the right skills, or yeah, you just need some training, that type of stuff. Go and speak to these guys. They've got an amazing, amazing track record, especially in the like engineering background, but there's a range of different sectors. So go and check their website out. Yeah, that'll be in the link in the description. Everyone round my house Rapamo. So not only I say this every time, but not only is it a good name, it's a brilliant book. If you don't know Phil Spencer, he is the author of the book. He writes for Talksport, and he's a local lad, loves the borough. um, and he basically talks through Boro's best years. So that's and like the McLaren Revolution. So it's from 2003 to 2006, and it's only 3 years, but he crammed a lot in, exclusive interviews, behind the scenes kind of stuff. Yeah, obviously including the Carling Cup win, the European run, Eindhoven, loads of stuff. If you're a Borough fan, can't recommend this read enough. Really, really awesome book. Extra time leagues. So this is like seven-a-side, nine-a-side tournaments. If you fancy a kickabout with your mates, like forget goals, right? Get yourself to extra time leagues because you can enter tournaments to win money. So, I've seen some awesome names by the way. And if you go through our socials, there's some awesome videos of people scoring absolute screamers as well. So yeah, your stuff's like recorded, so you can share that stuff as well, which is really, really cool. And yeah, you can win some cash with your friends at the end of it. So yeah, like I said, I think Demi's been in it as well. So get yourself down, have some fun. Uh, Sure Pure CBD. Now, I mean, it's kind of in the name CBD. So anything you can think of CBD product wise, these guys do. I'm talking even tea, coffee, balms, oils. These guys do it all. Then they're on a mission to essentially be the best retailers on the UK market. Um, I like to say I've got family members that use it. I've used it personally myself. It works for things like headaches, migraines more specifically, um, anxiety, a big one, stress. Relaxes you. But what I would say is always do your research when before you purchase these products. I know I'm a very trustworthy person, but yeah, do your own research before you buy any of these. And yeah, but if you do want to try it, these guys to speak to. Fleet River Music, these guys are like next level cool. I know we've got some awesome sponsors, but these they're up there as well. Fleet River Music are essentially a management company for artists and producers. Now, if you're into like dance slash like electronic music, which is that's the genre. That's my favorite genre. You'll know the Chemical Brothers, and they manage the Chemical Brothers, which is that's like some next level stuff. Um, so if you're thinking about getting into music industry or you've started out, you're an artist that is looking to kind of put themselves out there on the map, go and speak to Fleet River Music because the guy's based locally, and he's got some amazing, amazing contacts that can, put you on the map, get your music career started. So yeah, go and speak to Fleet River Music. And I just want to say a massive thank you to all of the sponsors because it makes doing stuff like this worthwhile. The support that everyone has shown us has been incredible. So, yeah, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it.